My friends, welcome to another episode of the Nuclear Heatwave Wrestling Podcast, brought to you by Mafia Sports Report. I am always, today I am Love Dudley, and we have Sauce Dudley, and bringing here for the first time, we have Ugly Dudley.
That was very nice. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah. So it's time to testify and talk some wrestling.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. With Halloween coming up, and we just finished with Halloween Havoc, we decided to get a little festive today and also going over the week in review for wrestling. There's always something good. So let's get right into it. So obviously, we had Halloween Havoc from NXT on this past Saturday, which ended up being a pretty damn good show. The fact they brought Halloween Havoc, this is the third year with NXT branding for it, and they did the best thing. After our preview from last week, we kind of talked about like what the hot match is or what could be like the top match, and pretty much Sauce and everyone else talked to got it right. The opening match was the North American title ladder match, and it delivered. Let me tell you, it was definitely a good one. What did you think about that, Sauce?
Oh, actually, it was on point. It started off pretty decent. It was just a regular ladder match. Then all of a sudden, we got stuff going all over the place. We got, let's say, Frazier. Frazier was showing his behind off.
I remember I talked about that last week with Nathan Frazier. I said, this guy, he's going to be the future. They already did this big like tournament type thing with wrestling series with Axiom, and he was just pulling some moves out of nowhere. He did a Spanish fly off the middle rope on the ladder. He was doing cross body block, planchas off the top rope.
Right.
Like 2 minutes into the match.
So
yeah.
there was a moment in that match where Hayes, he was on who's the big man? Big man's Wagner, correct?
Von Wagner, yeah.
Yeah, Von Wagner. So Hayes jumps off the rope. He goes into this Hurricanrana and almost goes into like this crossface. And I was like, if somebody's back there watching, he needs to figure out to put that in his repertoire, because I was like, holy.
Oh, yeah. There was a lot of moves that were very unique. I mean, I saw reverse Pele kicks where he would flip him for like this way, and then he flipped back around and still hit him in the back of the head. I'm like, that's some athleticism there, And you're talking about Carmelo Hayes, you're talking about Wes Lee, even Oro Mensah, who I didn't really know much about before this, and he showed, he was like the dark horse, and he was showing some real potential in this match. It was crazy, and honestly, it could have been it was Carmelo Hayes' belt to lose in a sense, but Wes Lee, he deserved it. He really did deserve it, and yeah, there's some of those spots though, me, when it comes to a ladder match, I don't like when they take a lot of time to set up a contraption, a whole like bridging, because if it takes too much time, it's kind of like, all right, we're waiting. What's going on? But they
Right.
did a good job. They did a good job, I think, with it. So
So the biggest spots that that I pointed out was obviously the Hurricane is almost crossface. The Spanish Fly off the ropes into the ladder, and then Wagner throwing Lee like he picked him up and just threw him like a bag of rice onto the announcer's table.
yeah, and he like bounced off the announce table. He was in the ring, threw him over, hit it, and just rolled off. He did. I'm like, oh god, that's gonna sting a little bit.
And there was another point too. So there's moments where once again we wait for wrestlers to set up the spots. There was a moment where Wagner was on the side. He was getting the ladder prepared, and he didn't look behind him. He almost like decked the lady in the face. With the ladder.
I did see that actually. I when he was setting it up on the outside for the bridge. Yeah, I saw that.
She almost ate that whole ladder too.
You know what? They don't get close. Don't get too close. But
my question to Ugly Dudley is: so now that Lee, he's the North American champion. So what's your thoughts on him going forward?
I think, man, I'm just happy that the guy finally is getting this push, even though all that crap that happened with him and with his partner, after he got basically fired. I'm finally happy the kid's getting a good singles push. He's got all the talent in the world, and then winning that North American title, it just kind of just proves it. But I also think maybe we'll see Carmelo Hayes and him feud for here in a little bit, or probably like a month or two, give or take, and then Carmelo Hayes probably going to get called up, just like all the other NXT talent.
Oh yeah,
I can see that. Yeah, I mean, with Wes Lee, his work he did in Impact Wrestling, and even though a lot of people were kind of writing him off, there's still some good wrestling there, And he was there as Desmond Xavier, and he wrestled some good matches in the X Division. And I know we've all watched some great matches with their X Division, So it's good that like you said, he kind of got the raw end of the deal on the tag team, but. Mm-hmm. At least they said, you know what? Now we're going to push you. We're going to keep pushing you now, and we'll see what goes forward. But I could see it with Carmelo Hayes, maybe a match, then maybe it's a second match or another kind of gimmick match, maybe
a small feud, maybe.
Yeah, I could see that. But hey, anything could happen. But I hope Nathan Frazier is not thrown down in the shuffle, though. I hope they keep pushing him in some other feuds or something, but that kid's got he doesn't. The problem is he doesn't really have a gimmick,
He's just a big man.
Yeah, so when you have that, it's like, but the crowd was hot. The whole time, so it wasn't like they're kind of cold for it. No, they were hot for it, and lots of holy shit chants, lots of this is awesome chants, and. Again, being there at the Performance Center, really tight knit right in there, that's always the best. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, it reminds you of the Hammerstein Ballroom where everything was close. Everything was like close and intimate as far as, between the wrestlers and the fans. They, when you that close, when a small venue like that, it really makes you feel like, you're a part of that show.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And don't worry. Oh, and just to let y'all know, just a heads up, speaking of small, intimate, shows, let's say Ugly Dudley here. He's gonna tell you. We're gonna talk a little bit about that a little later on after we, get done with Halloween Havoc. So just make sure y'all stay tuned for that.
For sure. But so that match though, great opener. I as for like a rating, I personally have to get it like 3.5.
Okay.
3.5 headlocks.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, we definitely doing 3.5 headlocks over here. Hell, let's just do 4.
I agree.
We're doing 4 headlocks, just all the way.
My only concern was I wish it was a little bit longer. I wished it was maybe about 4 or 5 minutes longer. Well, compared to the rest of the show, I think it should have been maybe about just a little longer. But at that point, they already everyone kind of got their moves set up. They did everything they needed to do. So so it's no problem. But we got our first chat. Thank you. Always, we love hearing from everyone. From Owen Pierce, Devon, get the table. Right Loving the Dudley Boys look, fellas. My favorite tag team growing up. What? They are the best. I remember watching the ECW.
Mr. Pierce, testify.
Yep, that's it, man. But absolutely, they're the best. You know, ECW, they were great.
Papa Mafia.
I'm disappointed no one was thrown off a building. The building. You know what? Me too. Yeah, no, it's no Cobo Arena. You know, no monster truck rally. But hey, you know what? At this point, if they had done like some kind of like fight pit match where you get on top of the cage and they fell off, that would have made me laugh a little bit. Kind of recreate that. But you know what? Maybe next year. Maybe next year. Oh, that's funny. But yeah, so moving on, with the rest of this show, trying to see because I wrote so much on this. Oh yeah. Yeah, so you had Apollo Crews versus Grayson Waller in a casket match. So, again, gimmick match is always kind of fun, and we haven't seen a casket match in a while, And it was kind of funny during the match. They were talking about just like statistics about it, and of course they're bringing up the Undertaker and everything. But apparently, with the Undertaker, from what they said that that match was only one of 4 casket matches to not have the Undertaker in it. So, and I was like, oh, and the first ever for NXT. So, and obviously it works good at Halloween Havoc pay-per-view, as opposed to just some random pay-per-view. That's not like a spooky one.
Yeah. I mean, imagine seeing the casket match like NXT Takeover Brooklyn in the middle of like July with no rhyme or reason.
Oh my gosh! But this match was it was actually pretty good. Because even though a lot of people look at Apollo Crews going down to NXT as like a demotion, but look at Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose went down. She thrives. She completely thrives down there for it. And the Grayson Waller, he's good. He's a good like heel. They had him fighting Dolph Ziggler there for a hot second.
That was good. That was okay.
Yeah, because Ziggler is a workhorse. He can make anybody look good, and that was awesome. So yeah.
Let's say, speaking of Ziggler, I always say that man can sell a double drop kick from Zach Gowen any day of the week.
Easy.
Oh yeah. So it was good seeing it because they've been doing this feud for a little while, for a few months, and it was a nice culmination. But at that point, Apollo Crews had to win. There was no question about it. He had to win this match. And what I thought was funny was, typical kind of back and forth match. You have the casket, the idea you got to put him in the casket and close the lid. Well, at one point, Grayson Waller puts him through the casket, like the top of it, breaks through, and he's in the casket. So he's just like, I got it, I won. The ref's like, no, that's not the rules. The rules are you got to put them in and put the thing down. So and I'm like, that's technicality, but it's kind of funny. You've never seen that before, really, where it's like they break through the top and it's like, well, did I win? Well,
that was reminiscent to what was it, 10 years ago, Sheamus versus John Cena, when John Cena just fell through the table. It almost like he slipped out the rope and fell through the table.
That still kills me to this day that he won the WWE Championship
off of that
by just like he blew off
limping into a table. Yeah, very
insane.
Yeah,
insane. That oh gosh. But here I can't say too much bad stuff about Sheamus because it is Holly. My beautiful fiance, that's her favorite wrestler. So I can't really say
Holly. Sheamus is the GOAT. Just let y'all know that.
Yep. So just letting you know. So don't say too much bad stuff. Don't. Okay.
No. Pray to God you don't.
But so yeah, with that match though, after he gets in there, Grayson Waller's like, I won. Then the lights go down. And of course, the crowd's freaking out, and I'm like, okay, calm down. Then literally he disappears, and his druids come out. And he's got druids that bring out a bigger casket, a new casket that's bigger. And all I could think about was these are all the wrestlers that lost their last name, like he did, and they're his druids now. Like Matt Riddle's there, or I guess lost one of his names, part of his name.
Basically, Matt was there, Cruz was there. Let's say Austin was there.
Theory. What's up? I'm here too.
Right, all the people that lost the one part of their name, those were the druids.
Yep. So they bring out the bigger casket, and then they continue on with the match, and it was pretty, straightforward type match. And there was a nice little spot there when Grayson Waller went to do a tombstone pile driver. It looked good. I was like, and then he Apollo reversed it into a nice little like tombstone, like flip forward, kind of a backstabber type move. It was unique. It was different. But
it was almost like he was doing his own version of white noise.
Yeah, kind of. So after he did the, then it kind of goes forward that point, and again, it was good. It was good. That's about all I could say. It's not great.
Well, what? So what is your rating?
I would say that it was about 2. I'd give it a 2 headlock out of 5. Maybe 2.5, just because of the whole funny thing with the Druids. That didn't expect that to happen doing a casket match, but yeah, I'll say 2.5 actually. I'll because it was entertaining.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same thing with me. 2 headlocks to me. This is the worst. I guess to me this was definitely the worst match of the night for me. But I mean, once again, they had a big storyline behind it, so those guys, they did what they had to do, and they got into the promised land. So
yeah, absolutely. So moving on with the show, they kind of showed this little pre thing where they had actually we have right before we go into that, we have CBM is back. Always like to talk with people. We had when I saw the Druids, I was worried it was going to turn into a match like the infamous Vampiro versus the Kiss Demon graveyard match. Yes. God damn! Why now? Now I have to put bleach in my eyes. Now that I have to visualize that.
Once again, CBM, Chris, is that you? Blink twice if you're in Milwaukee.
So yes, that was no. It didn't get that bad. CBM, it definitely didn't get that bad. But I'll tell you, it was funny. Unlike the Vampiro Demon match in WCW back in the day. Lots of spooky characters, and yet they failed on all aspects. So what can I say? But speaking of the going all in on the spooky aspects, is that after that match, they were showing a pre-taped thing where you had Alba Fire telling Mandy Rose and the Toxic Attraction, "Hey, come get me at this house, this haunted house," and it was very funny. If you actually watched the whole thing, it was the cinematic matches that WWE has done over the past few years. Not gonna lie. Some people don't like them. I love them. I think they're fun. I think they're fun.
Yes.
So,
you want to know what my recent favorite cinematic match was?
What's that?
And no, it was not the
Boneyard.
It was not. No, it was not the. Nope. You know what it was? It was Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt, where Randy Orton burned down his first trap house.
Yep. His first trap house.
No, that was great. It was.
I was like, you got to put him in. I was like, the fact that he fought a trap house and burned it down, you got to put him in the Hall of Fame for that. Just for that alone.
That was fun, and the cinematic matches work because as long as that's what you're doing. Bray Wyatt with John Cena, that was great. And AJ Styles with the Undertaker. That was Boneyard match, which was great.
Or even the New Day and Wyatt family.
Yep.
That one. Yep.
And speaking of cinematic, not matches, but events, and talking about Halloween, how can we ever forget the Matt Hardy, the big Halloween party with the boogeyman showing up and Papa Shango was there and stuff like that. It was one of the funniest things ever because that was when they had brought Matt Hardy in and he was doing his broken gimmick in WWE, which of course I loved.
Gimmick.
It was that whole night was just great, because I have a spot in my heart for the boogeyman, always do because. But
my favorite part of that match with Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy when they did the WWE version, he got the lawnmower. He just yelled, "Mower of lawns."
That was good stuff.
I come from the man of 3 H's.
Gosh. Oh gosh. Yes, and this is, mind you, this is coming from someone that definitely watched TNA and their version of it with all the skits with broken Matt Hardy, and it was great. But it looks like we got Papa Mafia here. Yep, our buddy Avery joining Nuclear Heat Wrestling Podcast. Yep,
my boy.
Yep, he's hey.
My boy,
good time.
See, listen, out there in Don River Land, he's Avery, but out here, he's the Ugly Dudley.
Yeah.
They but back to the match, like the cinematic match, I enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed the cinematic match more than the actual match itself.
I did too. I absolutely agree. Like, if they had made the match completely just that cinematic match in the haunted house, all that stuff, I would have liked it better because they were really funny. Just didn't want to go in there. Like, don't get separated. Why are you getting separated? Don't you have to get separated? So then all this was happening, and then she beats her up and then like kidnaps her. So then like later, as we'll talk about, like they bring her back and then they have like a match that's like subpar, but that, like I said, we'll get into it a little bit later. But I was like, couldn't you have just had, like you said, can we just have the whole thing just be the cinematic match? But as for what they did with it, it was pretty fun, and again, going all in with the Halloween theme. One of my other favorite women for WWE, Shotzi Blackheart, she was one of the hosts for the night, and she did great. And I'm glad Triple H is in charge. She would have been fired months ago if he wasn't in charge, So, but she had her tank back. She rode her tank out there. It was pretty. Yeah, it was nice. But yeah, so it was. I mean, that was fun. Kind of moving on to then the next. It kind of pushed into the next match, which I'm hit or miss on this match, but it ended up being okay when it was Cora Jade versus Roxanne Perez. And I know we talked about this last week, Sauce, and we were like split on this. I think we were split on the winner of this. I believe.
I thought we both agreed that it was. I thought we both agreed that it was going to be Jade.
Actually, you're right. Yes, one of the other matches we were split on. Yeah, so we both were like, thinking about it with Jade in that, but it was a weapons wild match, basically hardcore match. There's really no, except you still have to pin them or submit them in the ring, but it's just a hardcore match with weapons.
Yeah.
And at one point the match starts, and I'm laughing because she's throwing, Roxanne Perez is like throwing weapons and like anything at her, like she's throwing a broom at her, she's doing stuff. I'm like, what are you doing? Stop.
The only thing this was the kitchen sink, literally.
Right. Hey Jeff Jarrett's not here, do that with China. So come on, rest in peace. But yeah, so it was kind of it was a little slow at first, but then they started pulling out some moves there I was a little surprised about, and when they got up on top of the little ledge there, it was like on the perch there, and then did the splash off that. That was, I mean, that's pretty big move, and mind you, these women are small. They're tiny, especially like Roxanne Perez. She's like 5 foot, nothing.
Yeah.
So you'd be like this, you'd be like, what's up, girl?
Yeah, I'm looking at her like she's like a toddler just fighting out here. Bless her heart.
Yep. And it was crazy.
But one of the big moments, besides them, falling off the platform to the table, my girl Perez, she hit a Canadian destroyer to the stairs, on the pile of stairs. Listen, anybody who pulls off a Canadian destroyer, you're all right in my book. To this day, the greatest wrestling move ever, besides the roll-up pin-up.
Besides the schoolgirl finish.
Yeah, but bless all her 4 feet and 12 inches of her, she hit that Canadian destroyer. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, you know what? I just became a fan. I don't care if she gets a future endeavor next week.
Oh my gosh.
Even though she won with what's crazy is, her winning, I felt like it was kind of an upset because everybody had Jay winning going as far as into the match. I mean, going into the match. So
they might continue the feud there. I know they brought Roxanne on SmackDown like the week before. So I think that was kind of a testing the waters of it to see if, if we could bring her up to the main roster.
Yeah.
I still think she needs to stay in NXT, do a little bit more feuding there, could build that up a little bit more. But no, I mean, it was better than I thought. I definitely was, I went into it, the pay-per-view, the show, like thinking premium live event, thinking that was going to be a, kind of like a snore fest, but it ended up being pretty entertaining. So, but as for a rating, I'd probably give it like a 2.5 headlocks out of 5.
I'm giving it 2 headlocks and a Ric Flair chop. No.
Yes.
Whoa.
Man. Yeah.
So so before we jump to the next part,
yeah.
Just got a question, Ugly. What's your thoughts on these two ladies? Like, as far as where they at this point?
Still kind of young, in just NXT in general. Probably still got a lot to prove, just for me, at least for me. That's my opinion. I'm really just stuck on Nikita Lyons right now, and watching her just get pushed the most. Honestly, man.
Well, she's got the look,
yes.
so
Man, she's got it all. Honestly, man.
yeah.
I want to see a little bit more mic work for these two girls, though. It's kind of just like cringy watching those two girls just try to go out there and cut a decent promo. At least for me.
Sorry, I think I had a little stroke because we were talking about Nikita Lyons, and I kind of like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, but it looks like we got here we go. We got a little chat here from we got Gabriel, Albanese, I believe. G's here, and there we go.
Locked in.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's all. Thank you. As always, we love everyone that chats with us because
we're just Gabriel. Appreciate you for stopping by. Just to hear a couple of good boys, from Michigan, just blabbing about some wrestling. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. I did see the one thing on here though, also from Gabriel. I think Avery can beat up Stone Cold Steve Austin. Let's sign it.
You know what?
Book it.
Can I get a hell yeah?
Oh yeah, there we go.
It's the bottom line.
I love it. We'll book it. You know what? Hey, Triple H, we'll book it. We got the tall boy, one of the tall boys versus Stone Cold. There you go. It works.
Hey, listen, we'll call it down. Let's say Street Fight, but we'll call it Down River Jam.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's great. But sorry, still thinking about Nikita Lyons for a second. But
Nikita.
Yes. Takita, is that what you say? Yeah,
Takita. Yeah.
I'll take it. But so yeah, moving on with the show. We have the Julius Creed versus Damon Kemp in an ambulance match. Another, seldom used gimmick match. But it kind of works. It works for the situation. It's basically like a last man standing match. It's basically, in my opinion, the same as a casket match. You know what I mean? You put them in the ambulance, close the door, you win.
Yeah.
You put it in casket, you close the thing, you win.
You win.
So it's obviously the storyline was built up from the last show, the Worlds Collide, where they had the diamond mine and Damon Kemp turned on Julius Creed, and so then they lost the tag team championships, and it was a good setup, good build for everything with them, because with Diamond Mine, they're relatively new. They're only since last year,
right.
But they became a pretty good tag, like a team. Roderick Strong and heading it, and it always reminded me kind of like a World's Greatest Tag Team. That's what they reminded me a lot of. The wrestling singlets.
I can see, yeah,
and had some good moves. I remember watching when we watched Worlds Collide. They looked great. So this was just your kind of brawl out, brawl for all type match.
Mm-hmm.
It was and for an ambulance match, you're not gonna be pretty. It's not gonna be like finesse. No, it's gonna be a kind of a brawling type match. And for the most part, a match like this, the heel is gonna lose. It's pretty obvious, but it was still more entertaining than most ambulance matches. It's not like it's Mike Awesome in an ambulance match back in WCW, or like a hippie bus match or whatever he had. Oh my gosh. Never forget that, where it was ICP was in the match, because ICP went everywhere in every organization possible. And Mike Awesome slammed I believe it was Shaggy 2 Dope on the top of the bus, and he just slid off because he was too close to the edge. He just slid right and slammed on the ground. It was whatever. It was okay, but it was actually okay. It was okay, but I got another chat here from from CBM. Damon Kemp may be the next Angle in a few years if he's pushed right, but not too quickly like with Roman. Well, yeah, tell me about that. All three of us can agree about that with Roman to a point. Roman's big problem was when he got injured. You know, when he got injured, the fans were behind him 100%, and they got injured. And any wrestler, that's obviously going to kill your push. And the writing for his promos, we all make fun of the fact that like the suffering succotash post, you know, that's the one that gets brought up all the time. But to be fair, that's McMahon. That's what he wants them to write. That's what he wants to say. Nobody's going to make that work. No wrestler can make that work unless they're like The Rock and he can say anything. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter. So it's like, what, you know, yes, when he got pushed so hard as a face, as a champion, it sucks. As a heel, it works now. But going back for Damon Kemp, yeah, I think I could see it, but he definitely he's still green. He's still generic heel. You know, I like the, you know, I'm a bad guy just because I don't like you. But I don't have really more of a saying, or I don't have my own kind of like thing. You don't need to have a full-blown gimmick. You don't have to be like Bray Wyatt with a big gimmick like that or anything else. You just have to be, I don't know, you have to be charismatic, you have to be good on the mic, and continue on from that. So, yeah, I don't know. That's what do you think? Avery, what do you think on that?
Mostly, I really just agree with you, honestly, man. You kind of hit everything right on the button, really.
I got you. Sauce, throw it over to you.
Oh, yeah. So, as far as this match goes, I would, you know, at first, you know, I was like halfway into it. Then, you know, this went from a wrestling match to a hardcore match to a World Star match.
A World Star. Yeah, right. There you go. Have the World Star logo pop up.
It got to the point these guys was literally just throwing chairs at each other. It was great.
Yeah, it really just turned into like a good hardcore type fight, you know, and it was better than I thought, you know. It was, you know, it'd be an ambulance match, you know. To me, that could have easily been like just a regular last man standing match or something of that. I don't know, something of that nature. But they wanted to, you know, with the gimmicks. It's a big gimmick, heavy pay-per-view, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Because they won't do that every time. You know,
but,
so
yeah,
and it was pretty sweet to see him throw the chairs.
Right. There was a few points in this match where they had that, you know, that definitely you know, did it for me. So for one, you know, it seemed like as the fight went on, it seemed like, you know, they would get, you know, it seemed like it was getting more personal because of the storyline. And then, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I was just agreeing.
And then at one point, I was laughing because Creed ended up, you know, tying Kemp into a wheelchair with the kendo stick and tying it in and started literally using him as a weapon against himself. And then I noticed they was making a lot of, actually quite a few trips to the ambulance. Because there's some matches, ambulance matches, you might only see them try like twice or three times. I think they went like 6 times to the ambulance. You know, which I like because it reminds you that this is an ambulance match. It's not just a hardcore match, not the regular match. Yeah. You know, and then the big spot was the I would say the 10 plus chair shots. Like he was just beating the brakes off him with that chair.
Yeah. Yeah.
But my question is, before we get into our ratings, so Mr. Dudley, what's your thoughts on these guys? You know, as far as Kemp and the Creeds.
You're talking to me or for Avery? Sorry, because we're all Dudleys here. We're all Dudleys tonight.
Yep. I'll say you're not wrong. But Avery, what's your thoughts on these guys?
Well, honestly, I'm really just a fan of Creed mostly. The other guy I'm really not too familiar with. Look, honestly, I've really just been focusing mostly on the Creed guy, really. But I think the kid's got a lot in him. I think he's got a lot of potential mostly. Probably might see a nice North American title run here shortly. We'll see.
I can see him being thrown in the mix for that.
Oh, yeah, something new, you know.
As I like to say, I'd buy that for $1. So
yeah, right.
But
you know, when I was watching this match, because this is like my first time really watching Kemp, the first thing I thought, like after a while, the only thing that kept going in my mind when I saw Kemp, he looks like a miniature version of Powerhouse Hobbs. like a tiny little Hobbs.
So he looks like Hobbs, like what, a year ago, a year and a half ago, before he got like jacked up. So
a little hobby. That's all.
Oh, that's funny. But hey, I like it.
But the rating I would give it, this match I'll definitely 3, maybe 3.5, just because of how wild it got. I'm gonna go with 3 headlocks and a Ric Flair chop.
All right. I'd have to go with like two headlocks and a Ric Flair chop.
Okay.
So it's 2.5 on that. But looks like we have another chat here from Gabriel. If Avery chucks, I believe maybe he means chugs a whole beer, I'll subscribe and make the 2 others in the room do the same. Well, I think we gotta do it. We have a challenge apparently.
My last beer.
Oh, I see. Well, maybe next time. Hey, you know what? I can always do it too. So but we love the comments. But we got CBM here as well. I also love when Julius Creed was using his hand to stop the door from closing, and that Julius used the same chair that Kemp used on Brutus Creed. Nice touch. Yeah, that was a nice touch because you don't see it too often when they actually are fighting to stop the door from closing and everything. You'll see it more in like a casket match or like a cage match when they're going out the door or something. But yeah, so it was nice seeing like a little bit different take to that. And they've been doing that with some of these gimmick matches, like we talked about before with the I Quit match with Edge and Finn Balor, where he said I quit only because they were attacking Beth Phoenix. And to me, that was something so different. You've never seen that in an I Quit match before. It's not like, Gunner versus Bram, where he just did a back body drop and then said, ask him. I'm sorry. Oh, gosh, the memories are coming back. But, yeah, no, it was entertaining. Had some good stuff there. But, yeah, I'd still say it's about 2.5 for me overall. But I do like to see where it might go. Maybe I'll go a little bit more for it, more for the feud. We'll see. On that. But now moving on, we kind of briefly talked about this earlier with the whole Halloween haunted house match or whatnot. But now we actually have, like, right after this match ends, you see Alba Fire drag in Mandy Rose to the ring, and the match starts right away. I'm like, oh, really? And it just, it wasn't really a good match. It was just kind of like a very so-so quick match you might see on like Raw or SmackDown. That's, not like a high-profile match. Just like it's over and done. And, Toxic Attraction came in, did heavy interference for her to win, which is fine for like a heel group, but it would have been better if that happened like in the cinematic match or something. I don't know. Or it would have been like a no contest. You know what I'm saying? Like, say if they did the haunted house match and they tried to win, but she like, poof, disappeared. Like, she disappeared or something. Because it's like some weird, and then it'd be like, well, there's no winner. No contest. That, to me, would have worked better than Alba Fire losing like a dirty way after all the buildup for her, right after Worlds Collide. So yeah, to me, there wasn't much for me on this match. I don't know about you, Sauce, like what you thought about it, but
yeah. So, like I said, the cinematic match was, it was pretty entertaining. The regular match, it was just like, It was just, at that point, like you said earlier, it felt like they should have that cinematic match should have just all been one match itself. Call it a day.
Yeah.
Because they could have added on about maybe 10 more minutes on the cinematic match, and that could have been the whole thing.
Yep. That's exactly what they should have done.
And you notice Fire, her face is painted like Thunder Rosa.
Yeah. Hey, except she's actually on the show, and in a match, Yep. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Whatever.
So how do you want to rate this? Do you want to rate it as 2 separate segments or rate it as one whole?
If I rated it, if I did it where it was like the Halloween house match, I'd give that 3 headlocks out of 5. But the actual match for me was only like 1, if that, 1.5 maybe. Yeah. But like, so the 2 segments, I'd say it's 3, and then like 1.
That's
1.5. So
yeah, that's the way I would do it too, because I feel like it was two separate moments. Like I feel if it was all together, then that'll be a different story. But one happened in like 8:30, and the other part happened in like 10 o'clock. So
yeah, so it's like, well, why would so I don't know.
yeah,
Logic there. It's all
but
good.
Mr. Ugly, how do you fit? Let's say so. Obviously we know your thoughts on Mandy. We know, she went back down. She went back down, NXT, and found herself. When everybody's starting to find out what I've known for years. Once again, she should have won that Tough Enough, but but at that point, I'm gonna continue to beat that dead horse. But as far as Miss Fire, what's your thoughts on her?
Honestly, I like Alba Fire.
Okay.
I really do. Honestly, for a second there, I thought she was going to have the match for the win, but like my man Love Dudley said, they had that big ass interference, so kind of just ruined the whole freaking thing for me on her. But got some potential for her mostly. I want to see her get a little bit bigger moveset. Maybe add like a Canadian Destroyer in there, like you said, or
hey, let's go, baby.
Maybe like some super kicks or something.
Yeah, something more like a unique kind of move you don't see too often as well.
I hear you.
I'd like to see that. Like someone do like a coup de grace. Like one of the like her, maybe she could do that or something, or like anything that like a heavy power move.
She got packaged a little differently than most of the women's superstars that I've seen in the past few years. So
yeah. Oh yeah, she definitely did. So
and then another question. What I want to ask you another question. Oh, so when do you think Mandy is dropping that belt?
When?
Yeah.
I don't see anybody or any woman on that NXT roster that can take it from her right now, unless it's Nikita. But then again, that's going to be she's still going. Yeah, exactly. She's still going through her getting pushed and getting over with the crowd or. And what she's obviously getting pushed as like a baby face now. So I mean,
to a tag team.
You're right. Yeah. But maybe she could be the next person to take down Mandy Rose.
Possibly, yeah. It really depends on that, but
right,
that'd be interesting to see.
So, like last week, my prediction is that Mandy is going to lose that belt around Royal Rumble. She'll lose at the takeover. She'll lose at whatever takeover. Then she'll show up as an entry in the Women's Rumble. That's what I'm going with.
What do you think's gonna happen?
You said what?
You think that's gonna happen, right?
That's what my money is on.
I could see that. What's interesting is that NXT actually did announce that they are doing a show on December, I believe it's 10th, Saturday, December 10th. That's called Deadline, which coincidentally is also the same night that Ring of Honor is doing their pay-per-view Final Battle. So I thought that was interesting. But the Final Battle show is at 3:00 in the afternoon. So, I thought that was a little weird, actually. Yeah, that's weird. So, but yeah, when I read it, I didn't think it was like, okay. But that's gonna be a nice day of wrestling. little day of wrestling right there.
Yeah, I might take that. If I have I'm sure I have some vacation time left. Mm-hmm. I'll figure out a way to take that day off. Maybe.
That'll be a good weekend because we have that happens on Saturday. Then the next day is the local chili cook-off that me and my fiance participate in every year. Sauce Dudley is always a willing participant to make sure that taste test.
Would you say that Sheamus' number one fan? She's a two-time chili champion.
She is. She is a 2-time champion, and she hopefully will become 3-time champion this year. Actually, like we said, she currently is a 2-time champion. Like I said, 2. Wait. What's going on? What's going on? Wait. That's what we're talking about. That's what we do.
Good job, Doctor Dudley.
That's what we do. But moving on a little bit so now we have the main event, which they did some good build up for this. And It was heavy hitting, like we kind of talked about last week.
Oh, I say, it's that time. It's that time of the night where you got men out here slapping those sweaty meats with each other against each other, and it's just a sweaty meaty brawl.
Yep. So obviously, you have Braun Breaker, the reigning champion, versus Ilya Dragunov and JD McDonough, the former Jordan Devlin. So, and it's crazy to think about is, these are three guys like Jordan Devlin. Just if you look at size wise, he's like the smaller of the three, but extremely, very, very talented. Oh, I mean, it was extremely talented. So, and just watching some of these moves that these guys are pulling off each other. And, last week I definitely was like the dark horse, and I thought maybe that Dragunov was going to win. But he ended up taking the W. So I think by doing that, they're really pushing JD.
Yeah.
They're going to be pushing him more now, which, I hope Dragunov doesn't get put to like the back of the line, but I just think, I'd like to see some good matches there with, JD and everything. But, there were some good, nice, close calls there. Triple threats are always very, chaotic, of course. And yeah, there were some good moves. Running like launching, spinning elbow and like European uppercut, and Braun just throwing people around, off the top rope. The bulldog, of course, very classic, off of his dad and everything. But yeah, I was like, the fans were into it. They were hot the whole time. Close calls. There was one extremely close call that you remember this one, Sauce, where Dragunov almost got the win, and the ref, I swear, thought hit down for a third three. And again, how that works is he might have, or his elbow or something hit. But I heard it hit, and then it looked, but JD grabbed the ref's arm or whatnot, and it was like, holy crap, what happened? But yeah, it was close. It was a close one. But yeah, it looks like Avery's just off for here for a second. But
yeah, he'll be back.
He'll be back. We're all good. So we know where he's at. But yeah, it was a close call, hot crowd for the near falls. And my only concern, the only thing I didn't like was you had a lot of these finishers going off, finishers hitting, connecting. And then Braun wins with just a spear. He wins with a spear, and that's it. And I was like, but it's okay because it was still an entertaining match. So I'm not like upset about it or anything. But at this point, I think it's going to be interesting to see who Braun's going to lose the belt to, because to make it realistic, I don't know. Like, what do you think, Sauce?
Once again, like I said, I believe when I see it. But actually, between him and Mandy, I definitely think that he's going to be the one to lose his first. And I'm still saying Survivor Series.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. So, hey, I could easily see that too. But what we got here? Looks like we have, CBM. So, the fact that Braun could hang with McDonough and Dragunov without looking lost bodes well for his eventual call-up to the main roster. That's true, because, as for, like, Braun Breaker, he's obviously got raw talent, but going against mat technicians like, JD McDonough and Dragunov, I think this was a test. In my opinion, I think this was a test to see if he's able to hang, like you're saying, like hang with them and not look sloppy,
right.
Not like every match is always kind of about, like, I always hate saying this, but the choreography of it, where it has to look smooth without looking like it's stunted or disjointed. Chain wrestling at its finest.
Hey, you know what that's called? It's called being on the same page. Something that Cargill and
being on the same
that night.
Oh gosh, now you're bringing up Cargill. Oh my gosh. But we got one here from from Tavario Griffin. Big, meaty men hitting meat. Yep, as Sauce Dudley always says. So, but yes, absolutely. So, hey, that's what this match was. It really was. When Sheamus fought Gunther, that was the same thing. That was
a banger.
It really was.
I'm still saying match of the year.
That's my match of the year right now. And I hard pressed to find, like, unless something blows my mind at Survivor Series or something, or Crown Jewel, which probably
it might
probably have. Well, it depends. Yeah, exactly. There's still some of the year left here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Braun winning it, I mean, it was good, but see who eventually beats him. That's what I'm interested to see. I'm like how that match is going to go down. So we shall wait and see, though, my friend.
It's probably. I wouldn't be surprised if it's one of those two men that was in that match.
Yeah.
You might have somebody. One of those guys might continue to chase for the belt for another month or so. Because once again, I'm calling it that somewhere around Survivor Series, Braun is going to lose that belt. And then he's going to be called up as the mystery partner, probably for the babyface team.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that, especially once we get closer to figure out what the teams are for the War Games match at Survivor Series. Yeah, I could absolutely see that. A good point. But, with all that, the show was a good show. It was very entertaining, and I'm a huge Halloween fan in general. Yeah. So the fact that the past 3 years now, they brought it back, and in a fun way, they had the spin the wheel gimmick, had the gimmick matches. Oh my gosh. You're talking to someone that actually bought this pay-per-view and had to get together and defended the Tomato Fountain Championship and the show on a Tuesday.
Oh my God, him and his belt.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention. I am the current reigning, defending Tomato Fountain champion. It's okay, guys. It's okay.
Royal Rumble's coming up soon. I'll get it back.
Yeah, well, Survivor Series
I'll get it back at the Rumble.
Okay, that's okay. That Rumble will be a good one. That will be good. When I defend my championship, because it's okay. So, but so going forward, I guess with these, the Halloween Havoc was good. I thought it was a fun show. And they're going to bring it back next year. So.
Oh yeah. But my rating is definitely I'm definitely giving it 3 out of 5 headlocks for the whole pay-per-view itself. So
yeah, I think that's a good average, honestly, with everything. So I would have to agree with that. 3 headlocks.
What about a Ric Flair chop?
Well, Ric Flair chop, we use that kind of as like the chop, like for a half point. So yeah. Looks like we have a
Sheamus #1 fan.
Hey,
oh, look at that!
Hey.
So it looks like we have on here my beautiful, gorgeous fiance, Holly Lee. This Tomato Fountain Championship belt. I'm shaking my head with you, Sauce. Well, look, what can I say? Don't hate the player, hate the game. It's okay.
Tell him, love. Let's go.
Shucky ducky quack quack. So,
so Booker T, okay.
Hey, well, Booker T did a great job in commentating on this on Halloween Havoc.
Yeah,
he was great. The whole and it was great because they were bringing up. They were bringing up the time where Harlem Heat lost the belts to the Outsiders at Halloween Havoc '96, and and then of course him at Halloween Havoc 2000 against Scott Steiner. They brought that up, which I was like, oh, that's so cool, and
that was probably one of the only few highlights of that pay-per-view.
That was the only highlight of 2000. 2000 was
pay-per-view so bad. They got the pay-per-view so bad they shut it down for 20 years. They took COVID to bring it back.
It really did. Oh gosh, it was bad. But no, I'll definitely say a 3 headlock out of 5 for me as well for the show. So
3 out of 5. Yeah, like I said, NXT. Once again, what I've been saying about NXT the last few months. I know everybody was hating. Even me, like, I wasn't really too big on the 2.0 at first, but then I realized that instead of them trying to bring in all these indie wrestlers, these well-known established names, and having that huge gap between the all-stars of wrestling and people who just walked in yesterday to figure out what a headlock was. Now with this NXT, you got everybody coming in, they're building everybody from the ground up. Yep. So which I can appreciate.
Yep.
Well, it's also great too because you have the NXT UK guys there that they brought over that they didn't just like you're not going to be wrestling, but it's like no, you're over here wrestling. You had Gallus wrestling, you had the Brooks Jensen wrestling with them, and then obviously Dragunov and Tyler Bate, and it's good to make sure that they're still there because that's so much good raw talent, So, but it looks like we have another chat here from CBM before we move on. Ever since Booker T did commentary as Black Snow in TNA, make him #1 commentator forever. And I'm telling you, if you guys haven't seen that, please look it up. It's some good golden stuff right there. Good so TV. It was ridiculous. That's all I gotta say. Oh my gosh, let's turn into the Booker T show, baby. That's fine with me. But excuse me. So, with all that being said, also, there is one thing, kind of moving on from Halloween Havoc, there is one thing also on Saturday. There was a local show here in Detroit at Harpo's. And, small venue, perfect for a good independent wrestling. Right. So our buddy here, Avery, the Ugly Dudley, went to GCW, Game Changer Wrestling, show there. And we just wanted to hear, how was it, man?
Listen, the ring is yours.
Dude, the ring is mine. I appreciate
there we go.
Dude, it was a great show, man. This is my my third GCW show. Actually, the third one they had here in Detroit. Me and my buddy Sauce, we actually went to one a few months back. We went with a couple of our buddies. He can even tell you from his experience, man, just the air there, just the people, the energy of just the crowd in general.
It was like ECW feel.
Man, I didn't grow up really watching ECW until I got a little bit older, watching wrestling, and I loved all that stuff too, a lot more than normal WWE and Impact Wrestling back when I was younger, Watching all this stuff again, man, just put me all back more in love with just the wrestling, just pro wrestling in general, you know what I'm saying? And just the small venues were literally honestly the best in just my opinion, because the pro wrestlers themselves, they just have so much more to kind of prove and to kind of get over with the fans. And on those small venues like that, that's when you really know if they really got it, you know what I'm saying? Or if they can actually put on a good show in front of more thousands of people.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you're right there. They're right on top of you. The fans are right on top of you. They're hot there for you. And
yes, man, it was a great freaking time. A lot of actually really, really banger matches. Actually, one of my really good favorites. There was they had a fatal 4-way match. It was a guy by the name of Nick Wayne. He fought Gringo Loco. Gringo Loco's kind of like a luchador, but the funny thing about this guy is he's just white.
He's crazy white.
Gringo
he's crazy
Loco.
White.
Yeah, white boy crazy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So he comes out. So basically reminds me of El Generico.
It honestly kind of really is the same thing. Yes, but it was Nick Wayne, Gringo Loco, this guy ASF, and then they also brought in Commander over. Commander was kind of a guy. He's really hot in the independent scene too. He might have actually had a few things over. Maybe I'd say New Japan or what is it, MLW, Major League Wrestling.
Yeah, Major League Wrestling. That's somehow still around, which is insane.
It's actually getting pretty more popular now. I've been kind of slowly popping in and out, or popping in and out, checking it out, seeing how it's going. But there's a couple more matches I want to bring up. In my opinion, probably the best one of the night was just because I just like technical wrestling, chain grappling and things like that. It was Jonathan Gresham versus Yamato. Most people know Gresham is a former Ring of Honor champion.
Yep.
He literally seeing him at the show had me literally goosebumps. He just lost the title to Claudio. Claudio just lost to Jericho, and then now he's here at a crowd of 200 people watching him freaking do arm drags and chest chops all freaking match.
Yeah.
It was freaking amazing though, man. I loved it.
Oh yeah, I know it was awesome. And you posted some little videos and stuff of your experience there, and they were awesome to watch.
Oh,
because of how close you were and how on top of the action.
Yeah,
I felt like I was there, especially with all the stuff going on.
Dude, I'll tell you, you can have Sauce, man. When we went, it was I I'd say there's probably like 300, 400 people just packed into small Harpos, and then like Love says, on top of everybody, it's just them small venues like that, man. When you're shoulder to shoulder with somebody, man, and you're with 100, 200, 300 of nothing but wrestling fans, man. It's just magic happens sometimes. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
I love those feelings, man. And God, how many they had? 3 death matches, I think. Let's see, 3 or 4 death match. Yeah, it was the first death match was this guy named Shane Mercer. He's one of those. He's kind of just like a bigger body, independent guy trying to make a name like all the other ones are. But and then they had the hometown boy Tommy Vendetta. He wrestles for he does like horror slam events like Downriver, Victory Gym, and like those little smaller venues.
Yeah.
Let's see which. They had my boy Hoodfoot. They had him out there in a death match versus Jimmy Lloyd, I think his name was.
Okay.
That one was a banger. Freaking Hoodfoot. He brought out some lighter fluid, lit the damn ring on fire, man, and then threw lighter fluid on the back of Jimmy Lloyd. Flipped him he was up on the top, or like up kind of on the second rope. Pressed him over into like some glass. Onto some barbed wire, onto some fire, and then the crowd just huge pop from the entire damn arena, man.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is awesome chant, or holy shit chants and stuff.
You sick fuck. We had all dude. Bro. Listen, man. The Detroit crowd, man, they don't care what they say out there, bro. They really don't. They don't give a crap, man. It's awesome, man.
And that's what's great too. You as far as live wrestlers will tell you, like Detroit is such a great crowd. Like obviously Philadelphia and
Chicago,
spot, like Chicago, they talk about those. But a lot of other wrestlers, they'll tell you like when Detroit show up,
we show up. You're damn right. Nick, Nick fucking this guy knows about Nick fucking Wayne.
Yeah, Tavario Griffin.
He knows about Nick Wayne. That's that boy.
He knows right there.
Yeah, it was a great show, man. It was. I hope next show they come to. I'm pretty sure Sauce might be there because we went last time.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna lie. I gotta go with you guys.
I want to see the ugly or the Dr. Love Dudley.
Yep,
there, man. And
no, I'll be there.
Hey, we gotta wear these.
Oh no, we definitely have to wear.
So that means so Ugly Dudley, you got to get his shirt too. So.
It was great.
Yep. Yeah,
it was, dude. I'll tell you what, man. Them shows right there, bro. It just brought me back and more in love with it. You know what I mean? I just want to watch it every single day now.
Yeah, because it's one thing when you go to like a Raw or SmackDown. Or
man.
Shows. Like it's cool, you get to see.
Because you're at Raw and SmackDown too. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's one thing, but it's another when you go to a local show like that because you feel like you're literally you feel like you're literally in that ring with those people.
I'm a part of it. We are a part of the show. You know what I mean? I went back and watched it on Fight TV too.
Okay.
I did. I've seen me and my buddy Chad, who I was with there, man. We were on the show hundreds of times. I could probably kind of just then the death matches. They'll take them, throw them out the ring, and then they'll walk them, slam them up against the wall, and then they'll take the light bulbs and bust them over their head. And then I remember this one time at the main event. It was for the GCW World Tag Titles, and it was a doors, ladders, and chairs match. not like the Dudleys, boys. Not a TLC, but a DLC. Okay.
Hey,
big difference. Let me tell you
there
that.
we go.
Right? The doors.
So you have these random door slabs. Yeah, you have the door
Man.
slabs and whatnot.
Oh yeah. Surprisingly, those things like shatter and they bust.
Yeah, well, no, they're actually a good choice for it because this is coming from me doing construction and everything for years, a few years. But the doors usually are hollow. They, some of them are. Some of them are full slabs. But the way they can shatter like that probably would look pretty sweet. Not gonna lie.
It was great. But yeah, they had the main event was for the GCW World Tag Titles, DLC match, and it was the champions were the Mega Bastards, Alex Colon and John Wayne Murdoch. And then you had the Second Gear Crew, who's Matthew Justice and Mance Warner. But if people don't know who Mance Warner is, he actually had a match with Jon Moxley on Rampage in August. Yeah, man, he had a match against Moxley on Rampage and back in the month of August.
Hey, that's pretty sweet right there. And
So-
now you're
so-
seeing him live
You
doing
know what I mean?
a
Yeah.
local show here. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it was pretty cool. And then it was those two guys versus it was a triple threat versus the Los Mazizos, another
okay.
lucha tag team, independent scene. You know, actually pretty damn good, man. Entertaining match, death match, of course. So I'm pretty sure you know blood and freaking glass and barbed wire shattered everywhere. But yeah, ended up being the winners were the Los Mazizos. Ended up cutting a really nice promo at the end, thanking the crowd, thanking Detroit, loving our energy. I love at the end of every like death match, like whoever it is, they'll always take a bump and they'll always hit the glass and like they'll hit the barbed wire or whatever, just one more time for the crowd, and then they'll walk out. And then people were handing beers to them too, and they were drinking the fans' beers too after it, man.
I mean, that's great. I mean, come on, it's,
you know,
yeah, and that right there is again like we talked about, like the old ECW matches. They had that same atmosphere, that same kind of like energy, and when you have that great energy from the fans back to the wrestlers, you're gonna have. Yep. You're gonna have it doesn't even matter if the match is like subpar. Right. That energy is pushing you through that. So
right, yeah. Most
looks like we got another thing here on here chat here from CBM. So there's some say Tony Khan added the new contract language to Jon Moxley's new contract just so he couldn't work GCW.
Yeah,
I think Tony may be worried that GCW is gaining traction. I believe that 100%. Absolutely.
Yeah, AEW's cut ties with GCW, man. I guess they're completely done because Joey Janela is a GCW guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's like one of the co-producers, like one of the head writers there for them in GCW. But yeah, that's another reason why Joey Janela stopped doing AEW dark shows and Rampage events. You know what I mean? They're just slowly cutting ties with him. That's why Moxley dropped the GCW World Title to Nick Gage like last month. Nick Gage finally won the title back.
Yeah, well, yeah, because he had to. Because like you were saying, this definitely probably said, "Oh, well, no, we need you here." Because, it's like, cool, because it's a win-win for him to allow him to do these random things with GCW. You're making GCW give him a huge pop, and then he also gets like a huge pop because us as wrestling fans, anytime someone like that pops and goes somewhere else, and they're under contract, like we lose our collective minds about it. Come on,
I'd mark out, bro. So do.
It's not a bad thing,
No, I love seeing it.
So I feel like we're going to see that more and more now. Hopefully. With them not going, even though technically when they made this All Atlantic title that doesn't make sense anyways with its name, I'm just going to call it the Intercontinental title or something.
Shout out Orange Cassidy.
Oh yes,
new champ.
Absolutely, but. For that belt, they were like, well, this belt will be defended all around the world in different promotions, all this stuff. And it's like, all right, now you're going to start stopping people from going to different promotions. So, all right, what's the point of that, But we'll have to wait and see how if we start seeing more wrestlers not going to any other promotions from AEW, but who knows? It's, hey, question. I'm pretty sure he wasn't there because he's been doing stuff with Impact. But Matt Cardona, not there.
No, but listen, the very first time I went to GCW was last year, January, I believe. So almost a year ago. Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green were there.
Okay.
It was freaking amazing. He had what's it called? It was like the old ECW,
the television title. Yes, the television title.
Yes, I couldn't remember, but yes, he brought that out, and
he like won the television title, and then he like threw it in the trash and stuff.
Well, because Rhino was like the last champion or something like that, and then it got dropped and never was a thing again. Then he brought it back, and then a self-proclaimed, but he was there too. That's about 9-10 months ago. Taking fans' freaking signs and ripping them in half and throwing them out and giving middle fingers to everybody and crowds chanting your girl's hot and stuff, bro. Dude, it was amazing, man.
Oh yeah, no, all his work he's been doing since he's left WWE, it's been great, and it's been great. Exactly, and
let's go.
So woo.
Woo.
But. He's gotten and he's happy. He's always interviewed. He's always interviewed asking like, "Oh, would you go to AEW? Would you go back to WWE?" And it's like, he's not rude about it. He's, especially like recently because of Triple H being there, they asked him if he would come back, and he's like, I mean, I think he said if they called, I would answer it and talk to him about it, but I probably wouldn't because he gets more free time now.
Yeah,
he gets his own contracts, his own weight, how he travels, all that kind of stuff, scheduling. He doesn't need to, but I know he's doing stuff with Impact, I believe, right now. I believe.
Recently I think he's been like back and forth in there.
Yeah, because they introduced their what is that, digital media championship? Which he must, when they first announced it, he probably was like,
he's like, oh,
like really? Well, if you think
I
about
literally did that 10 years ago.
Well, yeah, he did it before it was like a thing to do. If he had the same belt now and the same character, you know how over he would be with how digital media is so like hot now and social media. I mean, he probably was like, what is going on right now?
Right.
But
he was a man before his time for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But no, that sounds like it was a great show, man. It sounds like it was a fire show, and I definitely have to get next time they're here. I definitely have to go for sure.
Looking forward to the next show. Supposedly, I heard rumors Nick Gage might be there, but then again, if you ask the people, because we got stage seats, so we paid the extra couple bucks for the stage seats. They give you an extra wristband, and then you can walk behind backstage and walk up the stairs, and then you're on stage, and everybody else is watching you because you're on free. Dude, it was sick.
That's awesome, man.
Sauce knows what I'm talking about. He knows what the view is there with the stage.
Oh, okay. I got
you. There's literally 3 rows on the stage, and we had third row in the corner. I'm 6'5", so I'm seeing everything. Nobody's in front of me. I have a perfect freaking view.
You never have to worry about someone standing in front of you.
Ever. I was telling him, I was like, man, I feel bad for the people behind me, man. Luckily, we were like people like right in the third row. We sat right in front of the commentary's table, right next to where they ring the bell. So I had the bell, ding, 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 right in my ear for a second. It was a good time, man. I'm looking forward to the next show. Hopefully, my man, Dr. Love, can show up with us.
Oh yeah,
hopefully
that's a definite thing.
Got to try to get Rio to come again. He was a good time.
Oh yeah, Rio was always a good time.
We got to get all them guys who came last time again, man.
We got we all got to pop up with the telly shows,
and we got to pay the extra for the 4 seats because when you have that extra wristband, you can really do whatever you want inside our bubble. Just show me your wristband, you're good to go, buddy.
Oh yeah, I would definitely pay the extra money.
It's worth it. It really is worth it.
Oh man, that's cool. That's awesome, man. Well, I'm glad. Had a great time. Great memories for it too, because any local shows are great. Even small shows, like I know you've probably been to Clash Wrestling, like the Clash Wrestling they do here, and I've been going to those shows. I've been going to those shows for like almost over 10 years, and and they'll randomly get people there. Like Josh Alexander just a few months ago was wrestling at Clash Wrestling, and
exactly.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. That was pretty cool. But no, I absolutely, man. I'm a little jealous, but like I said, next time I'm gonna be catching GCW.
Mm-hmm.
And Now you said you watched it on Fight, so they put the reruns on like Fight TV.
So it's just on Fight TV. Okay. You can go back and watch it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Hey, I did not know that. So very cool. I'll have to check that out. I also
have some streaming sites that I won't disclose how I got them, but I will definitely subscribe to them.
Gotcha.
You text me, I got you.
It's like, it's okay. Delete. We just delete this. So there we go. Delete. Oh man, but so unless you had anything else to talk about with GCW, I figured we could kind of move on to some other stuff going on. But if any other crazy stuff happened,
let me give it the whole show. I'm gonna give it 4.5 headlocks.
There we go. Bam.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Yes. 4. Chop.
4. Yes. That was a great show, guys.
I like it. Very cool. Very, very cool, man. And I like it. And that's why what's here in Nuclear Heatwave Wrestling Podcast, we love all wrestling. We love to see like anybody, any kind of company we're doing, not just the big guys, the small guys, anything like that. It's all good. So anytime we see something memorable, we're going to let you guys know. So, but throughout this week, though, there was a lot of cool things happening in wrestling, news, rumors, that kind of stuff. the one thing that definitely kept popping into rumors was the everything going with CM Punk, of course. You know, Phil. God dang it,
good old Phil.
Goddamn Phil Brooks.
So with Phil, apparently it's many people are reporting, how it works, reporting that he is going to be bought out of his contract. That it to me doesn't surprise me.
No,
it after the brawl out, or
Brawl out,
paper, that I remember reading something saying that Tony Khan siding with the Elite and getting rid of CM Punk. And I'm like, okay, I mean, they already proved that CM Punk's initial story of them kicking down the door to go attack him was not true, because they when they pushed him more about it, his lawyer refused to acknowledge that story. So that's a problem.
big time.
So CM Punk, I'm sorry, he's toxic. He's toxic. I've never heard anything really good coming from him, whether he was in with Ring of Honor in WWE, or anywhere.
Three different promotions where he leaves on a sour taste.
Hard to work with, man.
Yeah. So I just couldn't. When I read that he was going to be bought out, I said, good. You got the money, spend it, buy it out, and goodbye.
Goodbye.
And at that point, what's interesting is all these people, of course, because in wrestling, there's always, love the rumor mill. People are like, well, maybe he'll come back to WWE. And I'm like, no, please don't. I mean, look, Papa H, look, I know you're not going to see this, but if you did, no, do not.
Don't do it. The world, listen. The world can move on without Phil. Okay,
he won't. Triple H ain't going to pick up Phil Brooks.
No, because there's no reason to. The cons completely outweigh any pros that would be, you would think.
Like I see AJ coming back before him. AJ Lee come back before him.
Oh, his wife, yeah.
Yeah. I could see her come back easily before him. But when CM Punk came back, what was that, a year ago? He was on that show, that backstage show on the network, I think it was called.
Renee
Pack
it was on Fox.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you're right. I'm sorry. It was a Fox show.
He was employed through Fox, not through WWE.
Exactly. So that you know how that conversation went. Hey, he's really popular. We want him on the show, and they're like, fine. Like they were just probably like, okay, that's fine.
I never forget when he was criticizing Seth Rollins as far as his ring work, and Seth just went on a tangent on Twitter. And then he brought up his name during a promo thing on Raw, and Vince got pissed off at him, like, why were you saying this? He's not coming here. Yeah, it was just
because the architect, the Messiah, the Beast Slayer, the King Slayer, anything, he can do whatever he wants. So, there's no pros to make that work. Yeah, he's popular, or maybe gives them. They don't need them. Everything, all the people they brought back, especially with Bray Wyatt coming back, and more, people getting pushed now. There's no reason to bring them back. It just wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. And I saw some funny memes that did make me laugh. They were like, well, The Rock coming back to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, and then CM Punk comes back and gets revenge on The Rock. And I'm like, that's so stupid. Come on. It is so, I know.
So now if Phil's going to be gone, I bet you now the person who put him on the front cover of the video game probably feels like an idiot now.
Yeah.
Because I said that when the cover first came out, I was like, I understand.
Probably Omega.
I said it should have been Omega in the first place. Like, don't get me wrong, Phil's a draw and all, but Omega is supposed to be. He's basically, the way I look at it, Omega is basically it's supposed to be your Hulk Hogan of AEW. Yeah, of that brand.
What would have been kind of a cool cover if they did, like, you had Kenny Omega big in the front, and then on the sides you had the Young Bucks. They're doing You get them saying one on the side here.
Hangman in the back too.
Yeah, you could do that, and they could, and I would like that. But now it's like all these people in there. They got Jade Cargill on it because again they're trying to make her into this massive women's star.
She might be the future of that women's division, as if she isn't right now, man. Or do you think it's DMD?
Oh no, the card. I say Jade is a bigger attraction than any of those women in that division.
Well, I mean, when Britt Baker was champion, she deserved it because she actually had good matches, entertaining matches. Jade Cargill still, the basics are still a big problem with her.
Yeah, it's a little stale to me. I agree.
I mean, her ring work sucks, but at the end of the day, she's still she's just such a huge draw. Like when she comes out, see how the crowd is versus when Toni Storm comes out, who's the champion, or see when Britt Baker came out when she was the champion.
Right.
Yeah. I guess my other problem I have is the fact that they have that second women's title, right? The TBS championship, and then it's like, so you have the women's title, then you have this title. It just reminds me of like WWE when you had the women's title, then they had the Divas championship at the same time.
Yes.
And it didn't make sense because at that point they were just pushing the Divas, and then the women's prestigious title was like, we don't care about that. Yep. And then they merged the belts and they kept the Divas championship, which of course I was like, this is ridiculous. When they actually went. Well, it was bad. And then when they actually started doing good women's wrestling, remember when, I'm not a big Nikki Bella fan, but she did learn a little bit more about it. Right. And then
she did better than what we thought.
Yeah. And then Charlotte Flair wins the belt. Charlotte Flair, when she won, she looked ridiculous with that Divas belt. Thankfully they made the new women's titles, thankfully, which me and my brother actually, it was a very funny story. Right before WrestleMania, maybe about 2 months before that, when she was still Divas champion, we said, look, they need to make new belts for the women, and they need to make them look like the men's title, but smaller, and then probably on a white strap or something. But they have to look the same as the men's. They unveiled those new belts and were like, okay, cool. Cool. All right. That's
Thank you.
Same. I know it was exactly that. I said, good job. So, but yeah, I don't know. I just, AEW, it was kind of funny. We talked about earlier, Sauce brought it up. Look who's on Dark now. Athena.
What did I say?
How you like being on Dark, Athena? That big contract you signed, or whatever. I don't know what kind of contract.
Can't have all the talent on the main shows.
I get that.
You gotta let them wrestle sometimes. I hear that.
But this is what happens when you sign so many people.
Exactly.
And then you just start pushing. Then. Exactly. Yeah, I knew it was a problem when Andrade was on Dark. I'm like, really?
When Andrade was on Dark, that made no sense.
This dude's like wrestling Jesus, and you put him on a YouTube show.
I know.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it was interesting. But now with CM Punk, being bought out, unfortunately, last week on Dynamite, you had Moxley versus Hangman. And Hangman got injured. It was a pretty nasty injury with a lariat, turned him inside out, landed on his head, and they had to end the match. It was scary, but he did leave the hospital that night. Some bad concussion, no neck injury, So thankfully that happened. But it was sick though. It looked oh my god.
Yeah, I figured that's what it was. I mean, when he say he still had movement in his whole body. He just thought he was on, he just thought he was on Pluto. I was like, most likely he got a concussion. And it was just Avery probably remembers. It's like the time with Enzo, when he tried to slide out the ring, his head banged against the thing like a basketball.
Oh, man.
Looked like a rag doll. Oh, my God.
To him.
The Vaudevillains. Yes. It was a match with
he did it to himself.
Right?
Well, yeah. He threw him, but he's the one that ran.
He's the idiot that didn't.
Yeah. It's like he wanted to slide under the ropes or through the middle rope and then didn't get it in time.
He didn't know what to do. He hesitated too quickly and did it. Yeah.
So with that all being said, they then announced that at Full Gear on November 19th, AEW Full Gear, you have MJF going for the title against Moxley. So I'll tell you right now, yep, that's why I want your opinions, fellas. Do you think MJF is going to win the championship?
I'll start. No, I don't. I really don't this time. I know they're pushing him so much right now, right? But
yeah,
I think something might happen with the firm, who he is paying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who was who the firm? Lee Moriarty Who are the other guys?
y-
Those guys.
Was it Swagger in that group too? I thought.
No,
No,
not
not
Jackson.
Swagger.
No, that was that's the JAS, the Jericho Appreciation.
Yeah, right. I forgot he's in that one.
They have the other Adam, or no, the other Page. I'm sorry, Ethan Page.
Ethan Page.
Yes.
Page,
Morrissey is in it.
Yes.
Moriarty, those guys that have been running around, because MJF, I guess, is like he's paying them to do like their bidding, and I think they're going to turn on MJF and help Moxley win or some and get MJF to have a more of a babyface push from what I've seen in the past, like that thing he had with Regal. Regal turned around with his arms out, and he wanted MJF put that dynamite diamond ring on, and he didn't punch him. Old MJF would have knocked him out probably.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, as long as he's still kind of like, the fans are going to like him anyways because he gets good heat. He's such a good heel in his work, but fans are going to like that. They kind of like that whole anti-hero type mentality with him. So they just need to keep that going. And I don't know. It's a hit or miss. I think he'll win. I think he's going to win it, but I could, like you said, I could see him not winning it and then continuing the feud at that point. Because at this point, like, look, when Hangman's going to be out for a little bit, and then, Punk's gone. Omega might be coming back soon, but I wouldn't, exactly. Someone to kind of go in there. Jericho doesn't need it because he's got the Ring of Honor championship. So, and, watch him want to go for the title so he can walk around with 2 belts again, when he was undisputed champion. Oh, man.
But I think at this point, I see MJF winning it, because right now they really don't have a big heel or a top heel right now. AEW.
MJF.
Yeah. Yep. So I mean, you got plenty of baby faces and anti-heroes, but there's really no huge like top baby face right now outside of MJF. So I see him winning, and when for some reason obviously he could lose. He could chase for it, make them, like Ugly Dudley said. But I don't know. My gut is saying MJF is walking out with that belt.
Do you think he'll hold it?
I think it's about time that you see AEW homegrown talent actually win that belt.
Good point.
Yep. Good man. But what I was saying is, do you think MJF will hold it until the 2024 bidding war? Until the contract's up?
No, I don't think he's going to hold it that long.
Use it as a bargaining chip, he said.
No, I don't think so. But he could always win it again. He could always lose it and then win the belt back around that time, and that would be a perfect bargaining chip, wouldn't it be? So, oh my gosh, that would be fun. That would be cool. But we don't know. We're not. It's going to be interesting to see. But speaking about Full Gear, in November in general with wrestling, it's a huge month for wrestling. Let me tell you. Obviously, in the past couple of weeks, they've been building up. Well, for the WWE Crown Jewel show on November 5th, Saturday, November 5th, and obviously in the past few years, there's been a lot of bad taste in our mouth about Crown Jewel in general. Rightfully so in some aspects, but I think this is going to be a pretty good show, at least on the matches that's been announced. The Logan Paul Roman Reigns thing, it's a spectacle. It's there for publicity.
Right.
It is what it is. You're going to see Logan Paul pull out a lot of moves here and there, but by the end of the day, he's going to take a Superman punch and he's going to take a spear and he's going to lose. Yep. That's what's going to happen. But now Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. We finally get it already happened. It finally happened like this year or like whenever it happened.
The Rumble.
At the Rumble, it finally happened after because they weren't together in their first runs here, and now we're gonna get like a proper match. I believe we're gonna get where you have Brock Lesnar is this awesome, Canadian cowboy gimmick or whatever I like to call it, and it's great. It's his best work in years. It really is.
Yeah, definitely. And there's no belt on the line, so it's just you got Ebony versus Ivory, just slapping their sweaty meats with each other, and I'm just here for it. So I'm all here for it. Well, what's your thoughts, Ugly?
Oh, we can't hear you.
Hold on.
Sorry, go ahead. One more time.
What's your thoughts on Lashley versus Brock?
At Crown Jewel?
Yeah.
It's the hypest match I'm hyped up for, man.
See?
The most exciting, man. I just like how you guys say we barely got to see like what this match can really fully be, you know?
Yep.
And I hope it's not exactly, man. Yes. And honestly, in my opinion, I think Lashley's gonna win it. Because I'm pretty sure Lesnar's coming to the end of his last like few matches he had. Like his last contract he signed he had like 8 or 9 or 10 big matches left in the contract. That was the deal, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's coming to the end, and that was a year or so ago, I believe. That's why I think Lashley will win it. But I hope it goes on for 30 minutes. I hope it's a bloodbath. I hope the ring gets flipped upside down. I hope we see chairs everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Someone's bleeding because Brock always finds a way to get someone to bleed the hard way. You know, it seems like in these matches.
Yeah, the hard way, right? Yeah.
It really does happen. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in it. And I think the other match that's been announced so far was the Judgment Day versus AJ Styles and the Good Brothers, baby. And I can't wait. Yes. Oh, hold on. Hold on.
Oh, we doing.
Wait.
We go.
There we go.
Ooh.
There we go, baby. There we go.
That was sweet.
All I care about with this match is you're going to get the good, you know, you're basically going to get the setup for AJ Styles versus Finn Balor in the future. And that right there is going to be amazing. It's going to be, yeah, literally been waiting.
Yes.
But now, with all that kind of being said, they've already been feuding the idea of like how the Judgment Day versus them, but how, you know, Rhea Ripley, lovely Rhea Ripley, but they're talking about with the club and AJ, well, we need a female. We need a woman with us. So, gentlemen, who do you think would join them as the woman group, member of the club?
Go ahead, Sauce. Let's hear it. Tough one, man.
Let me think.
Honestly, I think.
Go ahead.
I think Liv Morgan.
Nah.
Yeah.
I had thoughts of her going to join this Bray Wyatt thing going, but I think I got the whole Bray Wyatt thing going. I don't think people are going to join him. I think he's going to do his own thing with his original characters. But anyway, I think Liv Morgan's going to go help the OC.
Yep. Okay.
She just got that attitude to her, you know. She got spunk, kind of what the OC has, kind of what the club was about. So it's just an opinion.
Yeah. No, I could see that.
Right.
I can see that for sure. But, you know, it's been back and forth. I kind of joked and thought, like, I know this wouldn't happen because of just, but could you imagine if Charlotte Flair comes back and she went with them? That would be nice.
Honestly. Yeah. It makes sense.
You know? Like, because you have, like, imagine that. You got Rhea Ripley, you know, big, dominant, woman, and then you have Charlotte. Then you have Charlotte, and then that's a rematch from WrestleMania 2 years ago for the NXT title.
Was it a triple threat?
No, it was the opening match of the first night of WrestleMania,
right.
and it was the Rhea Ripley NXT Women's Champion versus Charlotte. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, so it'd be a rematch at that point. And I mean, again, it would be a short-term thing, right? It would just be real short-term to do it. But I think they got bigger fish to fry with that, whether they want to bring back Charlotte to go against Bianca Belair or they want to, or some other type situation. Yeah. But with, getting close to the Royal Rumble and the start of WrestleMania, the road to WrestleMania.
That's right.
So to answer your question earlier, my question is, what is Lacey Evans up to? What's she doing right now?
Oh, yeah. Good point. Well, they brought her back briefly and then moved her to like Raw, then the SmackDown. And then like she had heel promos, and then when she showed up, she was like a face. They didn't know what to do.
Yeah, they couldn't figure it out. She couldn't figure it out.
If there's a way to rebrand her, to wipe the slate clean, have Papa H, restore her career, throw her in there with the OC.
Yeah,
throw her in there with the club.
Yeah. Well, it looks like we have another chat here. Looks like from CBM. I'm talking about Lashley. So now Lashley is better than ever, rising since his second TNA run, drastically improved from his first WWECW run. He'll go over that crown jewel. Yeah, and if you guys had ever watched TNA when he was there, especially in his second run, like when we got the Almighty Lashley, that was the Destroyer Lashley in TNA. They made him into the Monster Beast. They made him dominant champion, and he fought Drew Galloway, or as we have him as Drew McIntyre, and some great feuds. So, and when they brought him back, it was like, cool. He got re-seasoned with good and good to go. So, looks like we have Troy Gabrielson. Hi, let's go Buffalo. Part of Mafia Sports Report. We do like Buffalo. We do. I think Avery has I think Avery's got another team that he likes a little bit though.
yeah, over in that state of New York, I don't really know who they are, but I don't want to say 6-1, but maybe I'm just saying, man. I don't want to brag about that.
Shout out to Papa Mafia and the Buffalo Boys for stopping by the chat, stopping by the podcast. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. So,
but like as far as Lashley, definitely good. But I think Lacey, go back to Lacey. I think if there's anybody, because obviously she's good in the ring.
Yeah.
And I actually like her better as a heel, especially when her first run. But I feel like just throw her there with them, kind of like let her refine herself, and bam, it signs itself. So Papa H, if you're listening, I'm giving you free gold here, okay? Every week.
As every week. There we go.
Every week. Out here giving you free gold.
We are giving it to you. Let's go.
Yep.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So, so Crown Jewel is shaping up to be a pretty good show, and we'll have to see what else gets added to it. But moving forward with November 18th, which is Friday, Impact's actually got a show called Overdrive, and it's also believe it's on the Fight Network, as we were talking about that earlier, Avery. Yep. And the main event of that is Josh Alexander versus Frankie Kazarian. And because what they have is the option C, meaning he had the X Division champion. He's allowed to then vacate the belt to then get a world title shot, which again, not gonna lie, like people kind of ragged on TNA and Impact. Me and my brother and a few other friends, we used to watch it all the time. The good, the very bad. But some of the gimmicks worked. And the option C is something that I think was a very cool gimmick. It's a cool idea to say, hey, I've got the main set with a secondary belt. So now here you go. I want a world title shot. And I like it. It works for it. And I like Josh Alexander, but I think it's Frankie's time. I think it's Kazarian's time to win. He's been in the business for years, for so many years. I think he deserves the win. So,
option C, baby, it works. It really works, man.
He'll see him at Overdrive.
I see what you did there.
I see what you did there too. Oh gosh,
funny. Nice.
We're just like, what's going on? I know we're pointing to each other. What just happened? Oh god, but. So that match, that show's got a few, still got to fill up more of the matches on there. Bully Ray, is most likely going to show up there. So that was kind of cool. And, obviously with their women's division now, they've got, Deonna Purrazzo, and she's fantastic. She's fantastic. And the women's division there was kind of bad at some point, but it was always pretty solid majority of the time. So hopefully we get a good match there moving forward. And then the next day, as we talked about earlier, is AEW Full Gear on the 19th. So we're talking about some good wrestling weekends here.
Yeah.
A lot of good matches, some good shows. Hopefully Full Gear won't be 4.5 hours long. We'll see.
Ooh.
Maybe if they start an hour early, like they should have always do for all their shows. But
just start at 7:00.
But we shall see. They can't have 14 matches when so many people are injured or suspended or gone. So we'll see. And then that next week, right after Thanksgiving, you have WWE Survivor Series on I believe the 26th, Saturday
Dr.
the 26th.
Love's favorite pay-per-view.
You know, yeah. It's not my favorite. No, it really isn't. But this year, obviously, is going to be, I think, a changer because they're bringing back War Games and, War Games for WWE. Obviously, they had it
finally.
in
So
NXT.
happy for him.
But, I can't wait to see it. Obviously, the Bloodline's going to be in one match. You already can see that happening. Yeah, just throw all of them in the match and versus whoever else. Kevin Owens hopefully will be in it.
Just imagine how hyped that's going to be seeing Roman in a cage match with all his boys.
Yep. All that Samoan blood there. Come on.
Yep.
So
Bloodline, baby.
But yeah, so that's going to be a good show. So yeah, November is definitely going to be full of wrestling because, as we mentioned before, WWE is not doing a show from then all the way to Royal Rumble. So that's a good thing. No
Which I'm fine
TLC,
with.
no day one. I'm fine. But we do get
they still do New Year's
Revolution.
Saying.
Yeah.
Elimination Chamber match.
Yep. Oh yeah. See,
Remember that?
But Speaking of Elimination Chamber, the news actually broke, I believe, yesterday that they are bringing back Elimination Chamber next year, but it's going to be in Montreal next year. So, first time I believe they said in 10 years or something or 11 years that it was in pay-per-view was in Montreal. So
really.
Well, they had this tour a few months ago in Montreal, and it was very hyped tour. And I think they kind of were like, okay, let's bring them back here. They're going to start doing that more. You're going to see more international shows because they want it. They have the money, want to spend the money. So why don't you get the logistics and go? So I think, you're going to see another Clash at the Castle or whatever they want to call it next year. Because of how much, the ticket sales on it, everything with that. So you're going to see something like that too. But lots of wrestling coming up. And then, as we mentioned before, going into January, the Royal Rumble and the road to WrestleMania. So
can't wait.
Cannot wait. So, but, so one thing, Avery, we do every week here on Nuclear Heat Wave, is that we have a thing called the our pick, which we call the heat of the week, and basically it just means you pick for this week a wrestler, or someone in the wrestling business and where they did something you thought was great, or something that was memorable, or something that was just something that you thought was just outstanding, and again can be anybody. And so we do that now, in a sense. So we have, and
so from the past week, you said?
Yes. Yep. We do it from the past week.
Right.
So let me jump to. I'll let you think for a minute. So I'm going to jump over to Sauce.
Go ahead.
So Sauce, who would you pick as the heat of the week?
Definitely. I'm going with Wesley. What a difference a year has made. Let's say the future. He can only go up from here. Him, becoming the North American champion. Let's just see what he does with it. But he had a good ladder match. That man literally flew from the ring to the table and survived.
He survived.
And let's say he won gold out of it. So let's just see what the rest of this year and possibly 2023 has in store for him. So
yeah. Okay, all right, that's fair. I like it. It's a good pick.
Oh, and real quick, because I know why you're still thinking. Also, I just want to give a shout out to Don Rivers' own Kevin Nash. His son passed. Which sucks. So just us here. We give our condolences to the Nash family. So it was that's pretty much it.
No, absolutely. I'm very sorry for his loss and everything. And yes, it was very tragic, terrible time. So, but yes, downriver's own, from Kevin Nash. But Avery, so now with those parameters, who is your heat of the week?
I'm gonna say Mustafa Ali.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I like that. That's a good choice.
Yes, man. Yes, he's been back in Gorilla for God knows how long, eating catering with whoever. Finally, he's out on the show. And I'm happy, too, that it's against Seth Rollins, just because Seth can work with anybody. He can make anybody look decent. He can make anybody look great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't know if he's going to get the U.S. title. I don't know if he, I know they're kind of pushing it, or he's in that little mix right now. But I see him getting pushed a little bit more, hopefully getting more over with the crowd. Mustafa Ali.
I like it. Yeah.
Okay,
I'm happy he's been getting work. And like you said, we talk about Seth Rollins pretty much, I think, every week. We fit him in every week and how much he does.
You got to.
Well, yep, absolutely. So as for me, man, that's good. I'm kind of wavering back and forth a little bit on a couple people, but I'm going to give it. I think I'm going to give it to JD McDonough. Actually, I think because seeing this match he had with Braun Breaker and Dragunov, he looked great with these bigger guys. The mat technician, the strength on some of the moves they were doing. And it looks like they're giving him a big push.
Yes.
He didn't take the W. He didn't take the loss, I should say, the L. And it's like, yeah, I've seen enough of his work before when he was Jordan Devlin and when he worked with Evolve and everything else and whatnot. But I think he's going to be one of those top guys there for a while. And then if he eventually gets called up, I think, especially with Triple H in charge, it's going to be a good thing. So that's who I'd go for. The Heat of the week. So
let's go.
But so that's pretty much all I had, really. But Avery, since our first guest on Nuclear Heat Wave Wrestling Podcast, thank you very much.
Thank you, boys.
Thank you. So, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about with wrestling or whatnot?
Last thoughts.
Yeah, the final bell. There we go. Patent
final
pending.
bell.
Wait, hold on. Actually, I have it right here. The final bell.
Hey, there we go.
No, honestly, boys, I'm all set. We kind of killed it. Killed it today. Cleared up a lot of things.
I like it. Yep, I do too. So, what about you, Sauce?
So, actually, there is someone I want to definitely give a shout out to. Actually, two people I want to give a shout out to. The good boys, the Ugly Dudley and his buddy Love Dudley.
Yeah.
And these guys. So actually, well, it was Lovely Dudley, also known as Chad. So we was at the bar.
Fine guy Dudley, right?
Oh, he's signed. Yeah, fine guy.
I'm sorry, fine guy Dudley. I'm sorry, but the fine guy Chad. He came up with an idea Monday. He said like, "Hey, if you you guys, if you do some flyers, we go pass them out. Me and Mr. Ugly up here." Yeah. And when we went up, and I went to Kinko's. I flew from work. I was printing like 200 copies, and these guys, this guy right up here, and Chad, I just want to give a shout out to this guy because they went out of their way to Ohio to a wrestling show and passed them out. It was just so these are some awesome some good boys right here. Definitely appreciate it. I wish I had a flyer on me so I could show y'all when it passed out, but they're but I'll show y'all next week's show.
Okay.
But definitely want to give a shout out to those guys,
Yep.
For something that for something we didn't even ask to them to do, but they out of kindness of their heart, they was like, listen, we down for wrestling.
Yes,
for Diamond Wrestling, we want to see this go. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to you.
Of course, man. No problem. You're welcome. It's all love, man. Always is.
Absolutely. Yep. Wrestling fans, we are united. We really are
connecting through wrestling. That's what we are doing.
Yep. But so another great show. Love all the comments, all the people that are watching and commenting. Because look, we love talking wrestling with you guys as well. And please, next week again, we have another great show. Tune in next week. Subscribe, like, all that kind of stuff. But that being said, I'm Dr. Love. This is Sauce Bronson. and our guest today, the Ugly Dudley, Avery.
Let's go.
So you guys, again, as always, brought to you by Mafia Sports Report. We're going to catch you next week. You guys have a good one.
Hey, you guys be safe and be good.
Love you guys.